Good morning, students. Today I'm going to start your sixth chapter from your Vistas book, On the Face of It, which is written by Susan Hill. She is Susan Hill. She is an English author of fiction and non-fiction works. Her novels include The Woman in Black, The Mist in the Mirror, and I'm the King of the Castle, for which she received the Somerset Maugham Award in 1971. First of all, the introduction of the lesson. The story is about a teenage boy, Derry, who is about 14 years old, who has a burnt face, and Mr. Lamb, who is a disabled old man with an artificial leg made of tin. Derry accidentally enters his garden so that he can hide himself from people who hate him because of his ugly face. Mr. Lamb not only welcomes him in the garden but also encourages him to lead a normal life, leaving behind his past. Now, explanation. In the first scene, which was there in the garden of Mr. Lamb, the narrator describes the setting of the scene first. First of all, the location of the Mr. Lamb's garden. One can occasionally hear the birds singing and the low sound of the tree leaves. Derry, a young boy, enters the garden hesitantly. When he comes out to the bushes, he is surprised to hear Mr. Lamb talking to him. Mr. Lamb warned him about the crab apples that usually fell in the long grass from the tree above. Derry was shocked on hearing a voice. He asked as to who it was. Mr. Lamb introduced himself and also said that some small sour apples, known as crab apples, that fall onto the ground. If Derry would not be careful while walking through the grass, he could trip over them and get hurt. Derry said that he didn't know that someone was present in the garden. Derry and Mr. Lamb. Derry and Mr. Lamb was there in the garden. Mr. Lamb tried to stop him and said that there was no need to leave the garden just because of him. He also told him that he kept the garden open for people. It was only Derry who jumped the wall. Derry got angry for being pointed at like that. He also clarified that he didn't come to steal anything from there. Mr. Lamb agreed, but saying that many times apples had been stolen by young boys and that Derry was not so young to steal the apple. But still, Derry wanted to leave. Now Mr. Lamb told him not to be afraid of him and asked him to stay there for a while. Derry told him that he was not afraid of anyone, rather people were afraid of him. And Lamb asked him the reason for that. He told him that he knew what the people thought and how they behaved in front of him. Mr. Lamb questioned him about other thought of him. Derry said that people got scared on seeing his face. These are the wheat plants. Some consider it bad or ugly, while some took it pity off by saying that he was a poor boy. He added that they were fake. Actually, they all were afraid of his face. He even got scared of his own face. Now look at the Derry's feeling towards himself also. He said that he even got scared of his own face when he looked into the mirror. He added that the Mr. Lamb will also pity him, but in his heart he will not be scared of daring. Mr. Lamb did not agree with this. Terry thought that he was not interested in his story. To this, Mr. Lamb said that he was interested in each and every creation of God. He pointed out at a wall and asked him what did he see beyond it. Terry replied that they were weeds or unwanted plants. Mr. Lamb explained that there were a number of plants in this garden. There were flowers, trees, herbs. Some plants are considered good and some were called unwanted or weeds. It was not because they were different. All of them were green in color. It was about how the people consider them to be herb or weeds. In reality, they were just like Derry and himself. Means it is the perception of the people what they think about the thing or the person. Derry did not agree with this. Mr. Lamb told him that there was no difference. He was young and Mr. Lamb was old. He had a bun face and Mr. Lamb has a thin leg. Means both of them having a disabilities. So what's the difference are there? These things were not so important and so they didn't make any difference. Now Derry was really very amazed to listen the explanation of Mr. Lamb and said these are the different things. These are the things. And they didn't make any difference. Derry asked him the reason behind his leg. He replied that it got damaged in an explosion many years ago. Kid teased him calling Lemmy Lamb. Derry said that he could cover the tail leg with his trousers so that no one can see it. For which Mr. Lamb said that it did not bother him much, as one day the people would tire of teasing him and would start discussing something else. Means the demerits had not been discussed by the people so long because there are so many things to watch. There he showed his face and replied to Lamb's statement. Mr. Lamb suggested that things like a crab apples, weeds, spider, and the tall sunflower could also be some other things that the people would probably look at and discuss. Means the people doesn't want or do not want to discuss the demerits or do not want to discuss the ugly thing. They just wanted to see the beautiful thing of this world. So need not to scared and need not to discuss about. Derry commented that the other thing mentioned by Mr. Lamb were things. That is, they were non-living. Mr. Lamb replied that all things are related to each other. Just like beauty is related to the beast. That is, a beautiful creation is related to the ugliness. So everything has been linked with each other. Derry was confused. Mr. Lamb asked for Derry's opinion. Derry replied that often he had heard the people saying that the beauty is not related to one's appearance, rather inner beauty is our real beauty. Obviously, he said that even a handsome man is the one who does something good rather than one who looks good. Means the perception of the person of beauty or external beauty is not so important as the inner one. He said that once a beautiful girl loved a beast for who he was and kissed him, which turned the beast into the handsome prince. He wouldn't have changed if she hadn't kissed him. But then he said that he won't change. Now he knows the fairy tale that a beautiful girl kissed a beast and he converted into a beautiful prince. But he also said that I'm not going to becomes having such a change. My face will remain as it is. Mr. Lamb said that Derry was right at that. Derry said that no one could kiss him ever because his face. Even his mother kissed him on his other side of the face. Look at the agony of that child. What he thinks. He did not like this at all. He did not want that mother kiss him. He said that he didn't care even if anybody kissed him or not. Mr. Lamb asked him that, did Derry ever want to kiss someone? Derry asked him what he was talking about. Mr. Lamb said that probably Derry wanted to kiss a pretty girl who had long hairs, large eyes, and other people whom Derry loved. Derry replied that no one would ever allow him to do so. Mr. Lamb said that this was unpredictable. Means Mr. Lamb just wanted to convey whatever you are going to give this world, the world will return the same. If you love someone, everyone loves you. Derry said that he will never look different. When he will be as old as Mr. Lamb, then also he will have only the half a face. Mr. Lamb said that yes, he will always have half a face, but the world will full of so many things to look at. He just wanted to tell that the people see him that he was having the half face, but in the world all of them see the whole personality of the person. सारे लोग एक personality देखते हैं, not one thing. So he must add its beauty. Derry questioned him that was the garden the whole world for him. Lamb said that when he was present in the garden, then the garden was his world. He then questioned him whether his leg hurts. Lamb replied that tin didn't hurt. It never pained. Here the question has a different meaning. He said the people hurts, tin never hurts. Derry asked him if he suffered the pain when he lost his leg. Lamb said that it pained back then. He then asked him if it is pained now, where the artificial leg stuck into the real one. Lamb said that sometime it pained when the wet weather, but it was not that important. Derry said that he could understand what he meant by all this, as he heard people saying that you should take a lesson from those who suffer a pain and never cry or complain about the problems. Now, Derry was so understandable, or so you can say he can know each and everything and he knows it. But as far as his own problem is concerned, he just stuck upon it and he never think of anything else, just his own problem. Mr. Lamb said that he didn't say so. Derry continued that the people told him to look at those people who were worse conditioned than him. They told him that he might have become blind or the born deaf or to be the handicapped and had remain in the wheelchair. He may even have the born with a mental disorder. Mr. Lamb said that yes, it was true and the Derry knew so much. He said, okay, whatever problem we are getting is a very minor one. Other people are facing the huge problems. God save us from that also. Both of them were agree with that. Derry said that all the world not change his face. One day, as he was waiting at the bus stop, he was discussing an incident happened with him. A woman passed by him and he heard her telling another woman that he had such a terrible face, that only his mother could love him and no one else could. Mr. Lamb asked him, did he believe what he heard? Because context may be different. Derry stressed that he heard it. Mr. Lamb asked that was this the only thing he heard from someone? Derry said that no. he had heard many other things too. Mr. Lamb asked him, did he believe what he heard? Derry stressed, and he said that Mr. Lamb suggested him to shut his ears. That is, he should not ignore all this. Mr. Derry found Mr. Lamb's words strange and added that he couldn't understand this question. Means if somebody is saying wrong, you should not listen. So this is very difficult for the Derry to understand. Mr. Lamb said that he liked to talk and also liked the company of others. He also told him that there was no need to answer him, and as the gates were open, Mr. Lamb just wanted to tell Derry that if you are not understanding my question, so the gates are open, you can go. He could leave if he wanted to. Derry did not leave, and he seemed unsure of it. Mr. Lamb said that there was a beehive in one of the trees, and people consider the buzzing sound of the bees to be noise, but for him it was the song sung by the bees. This is a perception of the life. People saying the bees buzz, but I think they sing. Mean Mr. Lamb thought that they sing. Then he explained that he had liked the place from outside, and so he entered the garden. Mr. Lamb questioned that would he have entered that he seen Mr. Lamb, to which he replied in negative. He just asked, if you know that I was there in the garden, would you enter? Nika, no, I will never. I would never. Derry said that if he would enter the garden even after knowing that he was there, he would have been without his permission. So, why didn't you take the permission to come inside? Mr. Lamb said that that was not the real reason. Derry said that he did not like going near the people as they got afraid of him and stared at him. He was very much conscious between the people. Mr. Lamb suggested that he could lock himself in the room forever. He then narrated a story about a man who locked himself in his room as he was afraid of everything. In the story, the man thought that he would meet with an accident with a bus. He would caught the infection with someone. A donkey would kick him to death. The lightning may hit him or he may die because the girl whom he loved may leave him, or he may even slip off the banana and the people would laugh at him. Means every negative thing was there in the mind of that people who was there in the story. In order to save himself from all the such incident, he locked himself in the room. That man locked himself in the room to save all these negative things. Derry surprised and asked Mr. Lamb if he locked himself up forever. He replied, no. He didn't so for a while. Derry asked him what happened next. Mr. Lamb replied that a picture fell on his head and he died. This made him laugh a lot, and he said that Mr. Lamb narrated strange talks. You are so peculiar. Mr. Lamb said that they were strange for some people. But thing is that whatever you think, the action remained the same. Derry asked Mr. Lamb what you did do all the day. He replied that he sat in the sun, read books. He said that the house was full of books. Derry told at the house and said that there wasn't any curtain on the window. Mr. Lamb replied that he did not like curtains, hiding things and opening things. He liked transparency, light, darkness, and the wind too. Derry added that he also liked all of them, and he also liked the sound of rain falling on the roof of his house. Mr. Lamb commented that Derry was present-minded as he could hear. So you also hear, Mr. Lamb said like that. Derry said that his family worried about him, that he do in the future and with the burn face. People worried about such type of handicapped people, that what will do, what happened to their life. And Mr. Lamb said that Derry had everything. He just make him realize that, oh child, you are having a two arms, two legs, two eyes, two ears, and he wanted to make Derry realize that he had so much which many other people can ever deprived of. He can perform much better than other people who are having. He added that Derry could accomplish a lot of if he determined to do so. So he can do anything. Derry asked how was it possible, and Mr. M replied that same as he did. If he think to do something, he can do it. Nothing is impossible in this world. Derry asked Mr. Lamb had he any friends. He replied that he had a few hundred of them. Derry further asked, and still he lived alone in such a big house? Mr. Lamb said that everyone was his friend. Many people visited the garden. The garden remained open. He sat there by the fire in winter season. Kids came to pick apples and pears and to take the honey toffee made by him. Derry said that he wasn't a friend of Mr. Lamb. He said that Derry was a friend because he had not done any such thing that should seize their friendship. Then he said that they did not know each other well to become a friend. To which Mr. Lamb considered that it would be important. He did not need Derry's particulars before becoming the friends with him. Do you want to fill the form to make a friend? Mr. Lamb said that if he wished, he could tell his name. Derry replied that his name was Drake, but he disliked it and wanted to call Derry instead. He added that he might not visit the place in future, then he would not remain their friend anymore. Mr. Lamb asked the reason, why? Why you not become the friend? Derry replied that one crosses many people while the walking on the road, might speak a few people them, but never seen them again. This did not mean that they are becomes friend. Many times you traveling and you talk to the co-travelers. Many times you talk and walking on the street and you walk the other passengers and other walkers also. So they are not friend. This was the question that arises in the mind of that small child, that teenager child. Mr. Lamb commented that it did not mean the strangers are the enemy, if not friends. Derry said that they were nothing, just people. Mr. Lamb said that it could be that the people were not nothing to each other. There were some people whom he hated. Now Derry was so annoyed such a people because he think that people hate him. Mr. Lamb replied that is why he hate those people. Mr. Lamb replied that hatred would harm him more than the acid that had only affected the face. Means acid can burn you outside, but hatred burn you inside. Derry commented that only his face. Mr. Lamb said that a bomb explosion blew up his leg, but there were worse things that could happen. One could burn himself up from inside by the negative feeling. If you think negative, it means you are burning inside. Your thoughts, your vision, your perception. Derry said that when he had returned from hospital, a person had said that it was better that if he remained there with people like him. He added People think all disabled people will remain together at one place so that no one stare, no one comment. Lamb added. Lamb said, this means that the people without legs should remain together and the world would become imbalanced that way. So means lame people remain one side in one compartment or one place, and blind should live together. So how imbalance happened in the life? Derry said that at least no one would stare at other because of all were the same. Maybe imbalance will be there, but no one stare, no one will comment, which hurts Derry. Mr. Lems asked Derry that did he mean that he was like all other people with one faces like just because they had similar appearance? He added that everything was different. Although all kind are the same, yet they are different. Although you are there in the same place, you are there with the burnt faces people, but there is a difference also. Some are them having a minor burn, some are the major. Although all things are the same, yet they are different. Derry was confused. Mr. Lamb said that our habits of watching, listening, and thinking differently made us different from each other. Here, Lamb just wanted to give that what you are watching in the thing, what you are listening, and what you are thinking made your different personality. It is you what you become. He replied that Derry was always welcome here. Derry said that the place was not his. Mr. Lamb said that everything was his if he want it to be. All the possessions were for everyone, whatever he has. He was not going to take all this possession with him to the world. So, whatever he had belongs to him also. Then he asked if he could visit the place again, and Mr. Lamb replied that he could and he would find company too. He added that Derry needn't mind other people. He doesn't want to become with other people, so no one would stop him from entering the premises. Derry said they probably would not like to enter the place upon seeing him. He was scared. He was so submissive. Thinking maybe the people not entertain him and would not want his company. Maybe they would look at his face, maybe scared and maybe run away. Mr. Lamb replied that they might and they might not. हो सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, and that he had to take a chance for that. Then he said that Mr. Lamb that had to choose out of him and other people as a visitor because no one liked to remain near him. Now Derry was so submissive. He said that no person want to live with him. Mr. Lamb, who would lose all his friends if he had Derry in his garden. If he stays in the garden, no one will come in this garden. He said like that. Mr. Lamb said that he was there and did not run away of any seeing Derry. And he said that when he went out of the street, kids teased him, although they visited in the garden and his house. Sometime when Mr. Lamb went downstairs, so many kids were there and they asked him, this Lemmy Lamb has come, Lemmy Lamb has come. Instead that, they come into the garden and they play, they have toffees, they have fruits. So, they never run away. They never scared. Then he asked, did his legs get injured in the war? Mr. M replied that it did so. Yes, it was blown away in the war. So, in this chapter, we come to know that whatever we perceive, whatever we think, situation become like that. We are good, we look good, we have company, it is about us, what we think. And if we think positive, the things become positive. If we think negative, things become negative. This was the message just wanted to give by the Mr. Lamb to little Dairy. That's all the children from in this class. Or rest part of the chapter will be continued in the next class. Till then, thank you. Read the chapter thoroughly so that you can able to understand.